Imagine an empire, born from the rugged highlands of Anatolia, that forged a new age with a metal harder than bronze. An empire that challenged Egypt at its peak, created the world's first peace treaty, and then vanished from history. Its name and language lost for over 3,000 years. This is the story of the Hittites, the forgotten masters of iron. Our journey begins around 1700 BC in the heart of modern-day Turkey. Here, amidst the rocky plateaus, a collection of small kingdoms united, giving birth to a new power. They established their capital at Hattusa, a city built for giants. Massive stone walls, some 6 kilometers long, encircled the city, punctuated by imposing gates guarded by fierce, carved lions. This fortress wasn't just a symbol of strength. It was the heart of a civilization poised to reshape the ancient world. Inside these walls, a new era was being forged, not just in politics, but in metal. While their neighbors were still masters of bronze, Hittite smiths were unlocking a revolutionary secret. Hidden in their mountain workshops, they discovered the complex art of smelting and shaping iron. This wasn't just a new material, it was a quantum leap in technology. Iron ore was more abundant than tin and copper, but extracting the metal required much higher temperatures and sophisticated techniques. The Hittites perfected this process, creating tools and weapons that were sharper, stronger, and more durable than anything the Bronze Age had ever seen. Iron plows broke tougher soil, increasing crop yields and feeding a growing population. But it was on the battlefield that iron would truly change the game. An army equipped with iron swords and spearheads was an army with a decisive, deadly edge. The Age of Iron had begun, and the Hittites were its pioneers. With this new technology in hand, the Hittite war machine became one of the most formidable forces of its time. Their greatest innovation was the light, 3-man chariot. Unlike the 2-man chariots used by the Egyptians, the Hittite version carried a driver, an archer, and a spearman who also held a large shield. This made it a mobile fortress, fast, versatile, and heavily armed. It could charge enemy lines, delivering a devastating volley of arrows, and then quickly reposition, protected by its 3rd crew member. Unleashing these chariot corps, the Hittite kings began a relentless expansion. They swept across Anatolia, conquering rival kingdoms and securing vital trade routes. Their influence pushed south into Syria, bringing them into direct conflict with the other great superpower of the day, the new Kingdom of Egypt. The inevitable clash of these two titans came around 1274 BC at the city of Qadeh. In what is now Syria, the Hittite king Muwatalli II faced the ambitious young pharaoh Ramesses II. It was one of the largest chariot battles in history, with thousands of chariots thundering across the plain. Ramesses, overconfident, was ambushed by the Hittite forces and nearly captured. He managed to fight his way out, turning a near disaster into a claimed victory back home in Egypt. The Hittites seized 2 claimed victory. In reality, the battle was a bloody stalemate. Neither side could destroy the other. What happened next was truly remarkable. Instead of endless war, the two empires chose peace. The resulting Treaty of Kadesh, preserved on clay tablets found in Hattusa and on the walls of Egyptian temples, is the world's oldest surviving international peace treaty. It established borders, promised mutual defense, and cemented a new era of diplomacy. These ancient letters reveal a sophisticated relationship between two great powers, addressing each other as brother and arranging royal marriages to seal their alliance. But who were the Hittites? At home, their society was a fascinating blend of cultures. They were known as the land of 1,000 gods, adopting deities from the many peoples they conquered, including those from Mesopotamia and Syria. This religious tolerance helped them manage their diverse empire. Their supreme deities were the storm god, Teshub, and the sun goddess of Erina, who were seen as the divine protectors of the state and the royal family. Hittite law was also surprisingly advanced for its time, while other legal codes, like Hammurabi's, emphasized an eye for an eye. Hittite laws often favored compensation over brutal physical punishment. For many crimes, a perpetrator would pay a fine in silver to the victim rather than facing mutilation or death. This suggests a society that valued restitution and social order over simple retribution. The Hittite Empire reached its zenith under the brilliant military strategist and diplomat, King Sapililuma. In the 14th century BC, he shattered the rival Mitanni kingdom and extended Hittite control from the Aegean coast to the Euphrates River in Mesopotamia. The empire became the undisputed master of the overland trade routes, and its wealth grew immense. The most valuable commodity they controlled was, of course, iron. The secret of its production was guarded jealously, making the Hittites the sole suppliers of this wonder metal. Kings from across the Near East wrote to the Hittite court begging for iron daggers and tools, which were considered more valuable than gold. This monopoly on iron technology was the backbone of Hittite power and prosperity. But no empire lasts forever. Around 1200 BC, a perfect storm of crises known as the Late Bronze Age collapse engulfed the eastern Mediterranean. A mysterious coalition of invaders, known as the Sea Peoples, swept down from the north, laying waste to cities and disrupting trade networks. Simultaneously, severe climate change led to widespread drought and famine across the region. Letters from the last Hittite queen plead with other rulers for grain shipments, painting a desperate picture of a starving population. Weakened by famine and external attacks, the empire was torn apart by internal rebellions. The great capital of Hattusa, once the unbreachable heart of the empire, was violently sacked and burned to the ground. Within a single generation, the mighty Hittite empire collapsed and was utterly destroyed. For the next 3,000 years, the Hittites were all but forgotten. They were reduced to a few obscure mentions in the Bible, a footnote in the story of other, more famous civilizations. Their cities lay buried under mounds of earth, their language silent, their great achievements lost to time. It was not until the early 1900s that their story began to re-emerge. German archaeologists excavating the ruins of Hattusa unearthed a massive royal archive, thousands of clay tablets inscribed in a mysterious cuneiform script. For years, scholars were stumped. Then, in 1915, a Czech linguist named Bedřich Rosner had a breakthrough. He deciphered a line that read, "Nu Nindan is watermar I kutne." He recognized the word Ninda as bread and water as water, and deduced the sentence meant, "Now you will eat bread and you will drink water." The language was Indo-European, a distant relative of English and German. The Hittites had a voice again. The forgotten empire was rediscovered, and its history could finally be written. From the ashes of obscurity, the legacy of the Hittites shines through. They were the trailblazers of the Iron Age, their technological prowess shifting the balance of power in the ancient world. They revolutionized warfare with their three-man chariots and established a new precedent for international relations with their commitment to diplomacy and written treaties. They built an empire that stood shoulder to shoulder with Egypt and Babylon, only to be erased from memory by catastrophe. Forgotten by time, the Hittites shaped the age of empires with the strength of iron. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the history. Until then, stay curious.